Let's move on to second session. The speaker of this session is Dr. Cao Jia from辅英 University of Technology, and the moderator of this session is Dr. Gang Huizhen from Department of Applied Foreign Language at 树德 University. Please first welcome Dr. Gang Huizhen to the stage.
Hello everyone, thank you for being here in this video conference. This is Dr. Jini Duan. I'm a teacher at 树德 University. It's my pleasure and honor to chair this session. Before I turn to our honorable speaker, I'd like to raise up two questions to warm you up. Firstly, have you ever thought there is a strong connection between your personality and the food you like? Can anyone else guess your personality based on the food you like? Secondly, have you ever wondered the type of food fits your personality? Well, I guess everyone here, without any exception, is curious about the answer. But we are lucky today because the following lecture will give us a satisfactory and impressive answer to my questions. Now, let's turn to our honorable speaker. Today, we are very pleased to welcome Professor Cao Jia, a very special guest from辅英University of Technology. Professor Cao Jia is teaching at the Department of Applied Foreign Languages in that university. Something about Professor Cao Jia. She has a PhD in English literature at Tongkang University. And she also won another PhD at the National Zhengzhi University. Wow, what a great scholar she is. Professor Gao has worked on translation study with a focus on dialogism with ESP teaching. What is dialogism? Dialogism is a discussion in an imaginary dialogue or discourse. Professor Gao is also interested in Bakhtinian criticism. She says Bakhtinian criticism has prompted her to get a closer attention to college students' learning motivation, both socially and habitually. You must be curious who Bakhtin is. For your reference, Bakhtin is a Russian scholar, literary critic, and a philosopher. Let's go back to Professor Cao Jia. I'd like to quote her about what she's doing now. She says currently she has been driven to health-related courses for English major students with different knowledge interests. In other words, she's helping the English major student develop their second specialty. Today, Professor Gao is giving a lecture with the topic Food and Personality, Flavors of Globalization. What is globalization? Actually, the word is the combination of two words, globalization and localization. The term is used to describe a product or service that is developed and distributed around the world globally. But it is also adjusted to accommodate the consumer or the users in the local market. We have a lot of examples in our real life. I believe, let me have the example here. I believe a lot of people have experienced different taste or flavors of Big Mac at McDonald's in New York City or in Kaohsiung City. This is a very famous of the food globalization. Today, Professor Cao Jia also brings us some snippets of insights on how we are resonant with food and how we nourish ourselves. In addition, She will give us the idea about the four humors and in medieval time. Yeah, actually, the modern framework of Myers-Briggs 16 personality is based on the four humors in medieval times. Yeah, with that, I ask that you give a full attention to Professor Gao Jiaxuan and help me welcoming her to the stage. Yeah, welcome, Professor Gao Jiaxuan.
Hi, greeting to everyone, especially friends from Shude University. I am Becky Gao from Fuyin University. Before the lecture, I'd like to express my gratitude to Huizhen Laoshi, Professor Duan. Thanks for her invitation and the patience. Through her invitation, I had this chance to be a member at the 10th English Teaching Business Forum, whose subject is English acquisition and global competitiveness. The topic I'm going to share is about food and personality. Several questions might come to your mind. Well, why food? Why personality? Why personality is related to globalization? Nothing goes wrong in terms of English competitiveness? Well, I will show you a kind of intimacy, a deeper connection between food and personality with regard to food as product made by food media, by food industry, by food market, and personality as globalized characters, celebrity-dominated individuality. And you will learn that food is more than what we eat, while personality is more complicated than how we have been. So this is the outline for today's lecture. First section is food, business, and food entrepreneurs. Then food reality TV shows, and then categorization of food and personality. Section 4 is food preferences, and in the final, I made a conclusion with several points. Here is a question: what kinds of food match your personalities? I use plural to emphasize that the choices for food can be singular, but never single one. Junk food or fast food. Why? Because it is best served, full of seasonings and convenient to chew up. Nice in color, right? So why not? Or do you eat alone? Or with someone close to you? Or you might be the one who cooks but never eats what you cooked? Or are you learning some table antiquity like the little girl with the chopsticks? Because you have to live or date with a lovely one? From the internet, many discussions about food and personality readings, quizzes, questions have been done, which indicate a clear interest in associating food and personal choices. Even food relating to blood type. Can you believe? Food in your freezer representing your personality too. Food in holidays or festivals might also reveal certain types of personalities. In short, what's your food personality? What fruit are you? Which food represents your personality? In this slide, we see the best food relating to personalities. If you enjoy Sunday, you might be a person who messes up sleeping schedule. If you enjoy Big Mac, you have a surprisingly loud voice and angry when being hungry. In a word, you can live on hamburgers, or perhaps you like salads, indicating that you might go to the gym to take selfies. And you shop at organic stores, do you? Well, personally, I like salads, but I don't order salads in McDonald's. So why do we have salad in McDonald's? I don't know what's your opinion. Do you like take a shot and then enjoy the food? Why? What do you want to keep in your apple? Do you know what I mean apple? A kind of a produce, or your electronic device, your smartphone? Well, I believe most of you perhaps have no chance to know BlackBerry, but you might have heard the former United States President Barack Obama, who was known for his dependence on the BlackBerry device during his 2008 presidential campaign. BlackBerry's global users declined dramatically since 2012. Well, I used to be its fan. I owned 2 BlackBerry models, so it is really sad the business of BlackBerry lasted for a very short time, perhaps only 15 years around. Here raises a question: are your food choices making you globalized? Please pay attention to see here. I use globalized, not globalized, when making a food choice. Globalization is a very important keyword to know this forward, the topic of this forward, while it is a concept of being global, that we dig something interesting out to reassess the connection between food and personality. And to me, the concept of globalization is similar to water intake. That is, water intake is composed of tons of drops from various channels. And that's how a global business has been working on, which demands a lot of local marketing strategy through social media as platform. And certain values or business networks are thus promoted to the viewers. And that's why globalization is more a battle, a business battle, then again, which is searching for a larger market. So after learning some concepts of globalization and being brainstormed in light of food and personality, let's see some internationally famous celebrities, especially in food business, or the so-called foodpreneurs. They are Jamie Oliver, Anthony Bourdain, Nigella Lawson, Harry Eastwood. I bet most of you have seen their shows more than once. They are famous for their taste for food. Through their TV shows, whether made in kitchen or enjoyed in street, we dine, D-I-N-E, we eat with them. They share our lives in Taiwan. And we share our cuisine with them if they visit Taiwan, right? The first one you must have heard of his cooking styles. It's lots of talks, quick in making a meal for 20 minutes, including preparation. He is Jamie Oliver. In his TED Talk, whose title is Kids and Food Education, he introduced himself as a chef who believes that the power of food has a primal place in our home, binding us to the best of life. I agree. And this message to me refers to flavor of food, this power of a home. Perhaps that's the mother's food, right? Or be specifically kitchen. The next is Anthony Bourdain, who passed away last year. That was a shock to me, really. He was a man of character, criticizing a lot, but with good and a sincere taste for local foods. And I like this question, how to eat like locals. So what's your answer? My answer is, if you want to eat like locals, you have to accept local cultures as they have been. Next is the most brilliant eater from British. I encourage you to listen her way to describe her sensation towards food and her love towards life. A woman with a lot of patience and passion. As she said, I don't believe you can ever really cook unless you love eating. Yeah. Harry Eastwood, in Chinese, 甜食控, has a sweet tooth, enjoys sweets so much that one of her shows is named Simple Sweet. Another show is Cook Yourself Thin. No way, right? No one should be thin or thinner. If she keeps eating donuts, cakes, snacks, your waist will never rise. The 4 celebrities have been successful in creating their own food business, becoming foodpreneurs. The money they made is not some, but trillions. Why? Because to me, that's my personal interpretation. They are the food they introduced or made. They gave the food their own style. At least the audience loved the food they introduced, right? And they look happy too. So now let's go to the next section to know more contents about food in food reality TV shows. From where you see local amateurs and the local bestsellers. The 4 TV shows are Men vs. Food, MasterChef, The Great British Bake Off, and Cooks vs. Course. So can you find out patterns to seduce you to eat more or to tantalize your taste buds from the TV shows here? Well, I found some interesting patterns. The first one is good-looking judges. They are with strong individual traits, tempers. They are very impressive in the first sight. And second is all of them have a ready tongue to assess, to make fun of the competitors, and most importantly, to criticize. They are bloody cold. They are aloof but sharp. The third one is the competitors in the TV shows, in the reality TV shows, are good enough to survive, and that they win not only because of their excellent skills, their culinary skills, but the way they undertake pressure. Freaky enough, right? We love this kind of show. Do we enjoy their sufferings? I think that's a show of a Roman holiday, right? After all, not everyone will be seduced or tantalized by sugar, sweets. You may love salty food, enjoying beer's bitterness. So let's go to the next section. Categorization of food and personality. In this section, I'd like to share the types of food with modern version of personality. Yet they do not come out of blue. There is a history, a historical development, and a connection. Behind them, here are the new words for those who might be unfamiliar with the Western historical periods. That is medieval and the Renaissance. Let's talk medieval first. The medieval period is also called the Middle Ages. It is a period between the 5th and the 15th centuries, starting from the fall of the Roman Empire. In the 5th century, at that time, after the fall of the Roman Empire, Christianity, 基督教, played a very essential role at that time as a culture grower or developer. One of the most famous books about that period of time is Decameron, 十日谈, by Giovanni Boccaccio, which is really a classic book for us to read, especially for adults. The structure of the story is very interesting. 10 young men, 7 males and 3 females, met together outside forests to escape the Black Death, hate. They had nothing to do, so they decided what they can do is to share the stories they knew. And in this way, they spent 2 weeks together. Well, personally, I think the impact of Black Death is very close to that of the coronavirus to us. This is the first term. The second one is the Renaissance, 文艺复兴. Renaissance is a period after the medieval period in Western culture, Western civilization. It is a period covering from 15th century and the 16th centuries. Most great artists like Michelangelo might have a chance to know his statue for the art. Da Vinci or Erasmus are too eminent to be forgotten. Anyway, it is a time of humanism, 人文主义, relating to humorism. So humorism is the very issue I'm going to talk about. Well, let's think about the first question. What did the people consume in Western medieval period? Roughly speaking, the last millennium, 1,000 years ago. The time was a society with 3 labels, the royal, the churchman, and the rest. The rest means everyone. If you don't belong to the noble, the churchman, and you are an ordinary guy, a common human being, a small potato, nobody. Food for the rich or the royal family is for sure rich. Rich referring to red meat, red wine, lots of culinary skills. You might think, well, did they eat vegetables or fruits? The answer is seldom or never. Why? Because produces such as beans, oats, or corns are for the poor or every man. We can therefore assume that the rich at that time must have a short lifespan, due to the food they enjoyed was so greasy, fibrous, and much in quantity. People in that age lived the 4 humors, dominated the way a man acts, thinks. In short, humors are the character personalities. The 4 humors are blood, flame, black bile, and yellow bile. And as you can see in this chart, physical body could be heart, weight, dry, or cold in terms of the four humors. Four kinds of bodily liquids indeed resonance to ancient Chinese medical theory, five-element theory, 五行说. In our society, it is quite often for us to say, well, I am 我鸡蛋. In fact, we have this kind of feeling of physical status occasionally. Does this mean anything? Yes, it means a lot in terms of food and personality. The more spicy food you enjoy, the hotter your body will be. The hotter your body is, you tend to be red in temper. So you get easy to be irritated, or in some cases, you suffer heart disease. So as you can see here, if your heart has lots of fire elements, your heart turns red. So far, we learned that food is a matter of the public. It's not for something personal. It is a matter relating to our body types in medieval time. So how do you comprehend virtual marketing? Virtual means something unreal, right? So in a word, to market a commodity, a stuff, an item in website, in the cyber world, or in the internet world, the cyberspace. But how about appetites? How can we market our appetites? We know appetite means a desire to eat food, not always because of hunger. Sometimes we eat because we feel happy, we feel nervous, we feel lonely. However, appetite is to keep the energies from food be regularly taken so that our metabolism shall be maintained well. So the point here is that our desire for food, the desire for food should be stimulated or kept, perhaps by color, by smell, and also by the environment you are in. So let's see how food has been working in our digital era. So you can see food, well, once being connected with our hunger, desire, or feelings, tends to be complicated. For instance, cheese, eggs, milk are all the dairy food, right? But they might give you some memories in your childhood. So they are also kind of comfort food. But their shape are so different, right? They are different in color, in shape, and also the way we enjoy them. Nevertheless, I believe that one ingredient should be placed here too. That is, we dine with our smartphone, right? So does a menu app add value to your restaurant business? I think that's a matter of flavor. We see food, we pay for the food, we taste, and we decide if we will be back next time. In this slide, you see add your menu to Google My Business, a very interesting statement. And personally, I think the phrase is very thoughtful. There is a network here, your menu, My Business, through Google. So what does Google refer to here? Is a business organizer? Right. For sure, definitely. In other words, the phrase indicates that we are family, right? We are family. Well, in the cyber world, in the cyberspace unites you, me, and something else, like the internet, right? Food connects us. Because of the menu, we are therefore connected to each other. It's amazing, right? Let's see some marketing strategies for food industry. Food safety. First is food safety. It is related to food in any places. Should be safe to the diners, to the eaters, to the consumers. There has been a standardized process for food before it comes into our stomachs. Take an apple as an example. It was in the field, then sent to a food industry, and then to the market, and then to our table. Food safety obviously refers to handling, preparation, and storage of food, so that foodborne illness should be prevented. So food safety as a market practice includes food labeling, food hygiene, 卫生, food additives, 食品添加物, and pesticide, 农药, as well as certain managements of governmental import and export inspection and certification, systems, certification systems. You might know GMP, for instance, CSA, or Taiwan Organic, TGAP, terms like this, all are related to food safety. So do you know traceability in food industry? 产地履历. You might see this term in PX Market, 全联, or 7-Eleven. Food traceability refers to a way to trace food along the distribution chain in a series number basis. With this concern, food is more than what we eat, but a product. Goods that are certified with standards in food supply chain. Once again, all the process for food in food industry, in food marketing, have been digitalized, globalized. In consequence, food tech or food technology stands behind food industry, food security, food traceability, in case foods are safe to consume and to enjoy. Food technology, indeed, has greatly contributed to food supply and the changes of our brave new world. In fact, there are lots of food technologies being invented even before this century, or even the last century. For instance, yogurt was developed from pasteurization. It is a kind of food processing. Nowadays, we pay more attention to food technologies. And I believe most of you in your place have at least one mixer, one blender, a microwave oven, or soy milk maker. We have lots of makers, bread makers, right? And lots of high-tech appliances, which are convenient to cook by ourselves. So we are makers of our food, of what we eat. Well, next issue should be our food choices between fast and feast. Let's talk about feast first. Feast usually means a formal and a larger meal, like a banquet in a party, for instance, like buffet, serving with the main courses and desserts. And the purpose of a feast is for a social gathering, a celebration, for a holiday like Christmas, or for a valuable meeting. Fast, however, F-A-S-T, I think you know the word breakfast. Breakfast as the first meal of a day, right? So, but to be explained with more deeper concern, or speaking more specifically, it is a time for us to start eating after the long sleeping hours. Yet fast can also mean fast food, right? To modern people, for netizens, for all of us here. The point is, between fast and feast, do care about your body, do care about the fate, do care about your weight, your waist, before you choose the food into your mouth. So now it's time for us to know personality types. There are 4 categories: extroverts versus introverts, thinkers versus feelers, sensors to intuitives, judges to perceivers. These are personalities, individual features or traits to characterize a person's thought, a person's behavior. So if you are an extrovert, you are energized by people, you enjoy a lot of tasks, you have a quicker pace, and you are good at multitasking. You can do a lot of things at the same time. However, if you are introverted person, you often like working alone in a small groups. You prefer a more deliberate pace, that is, in a more stable pace in your manner. And you like to focus on one task at a time. So how about thinkers? Thinkers tend to make decisions using logical analysis and analyzer, right? Objectively, not subjectively. Weight pros and cons, yes or no, advantages versus disadvantages. And value honesty, consistency, and fairness. Sounds like a Libra, right? How about feelers? Feelers tend to be sensitive, cooperative in a team, right? And decide based on their own personal or subject value, which is very different from thinkers. And how others will be affected by their actions. So that's the feeler do. How about sensors? Sensors are realistic people who like to focus on the facts and details and apply common sense and past experiences to come up with practical solutions and problems. So that's interesting, right? So because we have different personalities, how we deal with an issue, of course, in huge difference. How about judges and perceivers? Judges tend to be organized and prepared, like to make and stick to plans, and they are comfortable following most rules. How about perceivers? They prefer to keep their own opinions open, like to be able to act spontaneously. That is a kind of by nature, right? A kind of a feeling-oriented person. And they like to be flexible with making plans. So you see the different type. But there is a kind of tendency to be extroverts or to be a thinker. But that's the categories for. So you can make a choice here now. And then you can see the different personality will determine how you treat food and your relationship with food. Therefore, with the 4 categories and 8 subcategories, we can expect 16 types of personalities relating to the work, right? If you are kind of a judge, it's good for you to be a judge in a judicial court, right? So if you are a censor kind of man, you can do a kind of detective. You can work as a detective. So if you are an extroverted person, and what can you do is to have a performance in the street, right? As a street performer. Are also cold, which is also known as Myers-Briggs type. And the theory is from Jungian concept of shadow, 影子理论. Who is Carl Jung? If you want to know more about archetypal character, Google him. So it's amazing in this slide. So who are you in the world of Disney films? So you might have a kind of gaze here. So I think you know Bella, right? In Beauty and the Beast. She is an INFP, while Gaston is ESTP. So they cannot get along with each other. Is that the reason? I doubt. How about Cinderella? Cinderella is ESFJ. Yeah, that's interesting, right? How about Snow White? Snow White is ISFP. How about you? I hope you spend some minutes thinking who you are, what your personality is. You like the slide here because perhaps you have a prince, princess, or Sailor Moon in your mind. So which princess is close to you? Like food, you choose the princess by nature without second thought. And also, if you are here, perhaps you can tell me what kind of person you are and the job you might to occupy in the future. As you can see, ESTP is full character. ESTJ is good at being a director. ENFJ can be a giver who loves to share what she knows, for instance. ISFP is a kind of artist, working with artist style, with artist thought. ISFJ is a kind of protector, kind of a managerial person, right? ESFP is a kind of performer, so you want to be an artist, yeah, and also you want to make a kind of design for the event you prepared. I think you can be a performer in the future. ENFP is like a winner who enjoys the sense of achievement to win the battle, right? ESTP, yeah, is good for persuading someone to do something, right? ESFJ, caregiver. INFJ, the advocate. So in this slide, you see 2 persons. Here are both extroverts, feelers, perceivers, likes outdoors, but one loves the night hours, while the other enjoys the sunshine more. So also you can see here the way a man loses his temper. ENTJ tends to show his anger in face by body language, while INFP tends to be an angry dragon. Here in this slide, you can see there's obvious differences between INTJ and the ESTP. The event and the frequency driving them to shout is different, right? So here you can see the 16 types of personalities relating to works. This is an interesting survey on average income by personality type. Who earns most? ENTJ, ESTJ, and ESTP are the top 3. And how about you? What's your personality? Perhaps we can say, in our digital era, to be experts earns more. In this slide, you see ENTJ is the least in population, close to 2%. So does your Myers-Briggs personality type impacts how you eat? So what kind of toast are you? What's your dessert personality? So you can check it by yourself. So you can check the details online. That helps you to know more about you through the food you choose. We finally come to the section food preferences, appetizer, main courses, desserts, and drinks. So let's have some concerns about restaurant menus. I think restaurant menus could be a study for anyone here. It is so interesting that you can spend some time working on it. So how do you like your food displayed? Well, I think there are 4 kinds of menus we can find in the market, in the restaurant business. The first type is 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I think some of you like brunch, right? And the second type is fixed and seasonal. Fixed means as usual, as regular meals for every day, right? For work days. Seasonal, as the name called, it depends on the season. And the third type is market and hybrid. Market, of course, is for the public, the popular, for the most of the people living or residents in a small town or in a kind of city. Hybrid, I think it means that we have a kind of dishes and we like to make order and have a kind of meal for the food we like. And the last type is for tourists and the specialties. I think this interests a lot because that's only for tourists. For the common people or the residents, the local people, I hope perhaps someday we can talk more about it. So here is an interesting event about Donald Trump, the current president of USA. He serves best food on silver platters at the White House. The diner at White House should be a feast, never like a meal at McDonald's, right? So are your meals social and emotional triggers locally individual? Think about it. So from the very beginning, we learn what food is, what personality is. Then you can measure your food preferences and review the local and global food business. Then we analyze the food reality TV shows and the food entrepreneurs, how they sell, how they market the food they made or designed. And also with the concern of who's therapy, who's menu. And we have local cooks, but they are all global bestsellers. So here we see food as a cultural individuality. So is there a recipe for everyone? Sure, menu is for everyone, for every man in our digital era. How about gender? Boys prefer meat to vegetables, while cakes are culturally feminine, 女性. How about age? Children have sweet teeth, see their tensions. Anyway, same food impacts different. Finally, it's time for make conclusions. Well, I made several points. Food resonates your or our personalities. Personality estimates food we display. Foods are local resources for how creative you are and how you adapt them for you to live with global flavor. Vice versa, food are local resources for how creative you are and how you adapt them for you to live with local flavor. So in a very broad sense, all of us are foodpreneurs. It depends on how we promote our taste, right? Therefore, food is more than food itself in the world of digital media, connecting netizens in terms of virtual reality or virtual marketing. One's flavor of food is less individual preferences than a market-based speculation. The way you choose food, you select food from the menu or from the market, reflects your character. The way you are resonates what you eat and how you nourish yourself, your body. The 4 humors in medieval time, medieval period, are the basis of Myers-Briggs 16 personalities in the modern time. And also I have one sentence for you for English majors. Food without appetite is like learning English without purposes. I hope you learned that what I delivered or in this lecture is all about ESP English, English for specific purposes, with the kind of purposes, and then you flavor your English in a different manner with your taste. I like this slide very much. As you can see, the matter of the best or east is determined by our digital world. So the concepts of best and feast in our modern digital or postmodern digitalized, commercialized world as a complete concept. So please, please, please have a feast on the unity of life, feast on hope, feast on gratitude, feast on patience, feast on being positive, on trust, on appreciation, on peacemaking and non-violence, on forgiveness, on slowing down, on enthusiasm, and feast from judging others, despair, from thoughts of illness, from discontent, from anger, from being negativity, from worry, from hostility, from bitterness, from disrespect, right? I think that's really a feast for all of us here. So that all of us have a time to talk, to taste, to flavor our future. And this is the topic I shared with you. Thanks for your time and bye-bye.
Thanks, Dr. Gao, for giving us inspiring and impressive speech about food and personality, flavors of your globalization. If you have any question, please comment below the video or send email to Department of Applied Foreign Language at Shude University.